Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om Gananam Tva Ganapatidum Havamahe Kavim Kavinam Kamashravastavam Yeshtarajam Brahmanam Brahmanaspata Anashvangam Murtihissita Sadanam Shri Mahaganadhipataye Namaha Sadashivasamarambham Shankaracharya-madhyamam Asmadacharya-paryantam Vande Guru Paramparam. Atmaswarupa Bandhugana. Today is a very auspicious day, being the Independence Day of Bharat. So India's Independence Day. And so I pray to Ishvara on this very special occasion for Indians that India may recapture its glory as the spiritual teacher of the world. So with that prayer, I begin today's class. I am grateful to Shri Vijay Kapoorji for making all these arrangements possible, all this teaching possible in the Bay Area. And I am very glad to see all of you, because I know almost every one of you very personally, and it is always a joy to see the jijnasus, the people who want to know. It is a joy to see them. It is not a joy to see samsaris. So samsaris have all issues. Everybody is a samsari, including a sannyasi is also a samsari. Because there is always some samsara pulling us down. And therefore, if I share my samsara with you and you share your samsara with me, it is not going to be a happy occasion. So, the joy lies in recognizing the basic truth, the very fundamental truth, that our samsara problems are so unreal. It is very difficult to appreciate it, but we have to strive to do that. So as long as you give reality to the problems of samsara, you will not be able to solve those problems. Because as you try to solve one problem, it appears to be solved, nothing gets solved in samsara, it gives rise to one other problem. In fact, it gives birth to a host of problems. So, samsara is not going to be resolved. There is a way to resolve samsara, that is to rise above samsara. That is the only way to resolve it. And study of Vedanta is such a method. People misapprehend or misunderstand that some Vedanta offers a solution to the problems of samsara, true, but not the way we expect. So, generally, when we are facing a problem, we always look at the solution. And the solution that we conceive as a solution to this problem will never be any proper solution, because we are already beset with the problem, and whatever solution that you conceive will only compound the problem, will not solve the problem, because your ability to conceive itself is jeopardized by the problem, by identification with the problem. Anyway, I was just making it a little more complex than necessary. What I mean is, the solution to the problem doesn't lie outside the problem. It lies very much within the problem itself. As you examine the problem, as you examine its validity, its veracity, how true the problem is, then the solution comes out. The solution does not come from outside. Anyway, that is not the topic which I wanted to discuss. So, I am very happy to see all of you assembled to study Vedanta in the fresh morning time. And in my book I have made a note that I have taken the Vedanta Dindima class on 11th August 2011. That was the last class. And that day I have concluded the 50th verse. So halfway I have gone through. So I have now my job is to finish the rest of the 50 verses. There are 100 verses. So let us say the first verse, namely the 51st verse. Dehadi panchakoshastha ya satta pratibhasate sa sattatmana sandeha iti Vedanta Dindimaha. So Vedanta Dindima is the text that we have chosen to study in the morning. It proved to be a wonderful choice because of the many Prakarana texts that I was studying and teaching. Vedanta Dindima proves to be the best. It really captures the entire essence of Vedanta and presents the vision in very succinct terms, especially suited to people of a busy worldly life. So if we have just enough time, this much time of sitting together for an hour and study Vedanta, then this is the most convenient text to study because it brings out the entire vision. Secondly, each verse is like a separate fruit, a separate grapefruit. So there is you need not struggle or you need not bother about where to start or where to end. It is like you are holding a bunch of grapes in your hand, all ready to be consumed, and you can pick up any grape from any part of the bunch. And you can stop at any point and take care of, keep the bunch aside, and you can pick up later. So that kind of a text it is. For example, the very first verse that we have taken up today, it is the beginning of a nice topic by itself, a beautiful Vedanta topic. So that is the advantage of choosing this text. Also, another advantage is it keeps us going for a few visits. Every time you come, you need not search for a topic. Because you see, for me, coming to San Francisco or to any other place for that matter has only one relevance, only one point which is relevant. That is what to do there, what kind of teaching that we have to do. Other things are not important. So, therefore, the most overpowering issue when a particular visit is considered, the most important issue that comes to my mind is what subject, what topic we teach there. Therefore, every time I have to go somewhere, I have to first settle which is the topic, and so that job is already done. So, for a few more visits, this text keeps us going. That is the advantage of Vedanta Dindima. And I would briefly describe the word Vedanta Dindimaha. You say, I request you to bear with me because I am still under the burden of jet lag. I struggle for words, etc. So you have to bear with me for a class or two, I suppose. Anyway, the word Vedanta Dindimaha. Dindima is the drum, which means not the physical shape of a drum. The sound that the drum makes, the drum beat, what we call Lakshana. The primary meaning has not much meaning. What will you do with a drum? Drum sitting there is not the point. The point is the sound that it makes. Therefore, Dindima means the drum beat. You see, culturally, this drum beat has a significance. In earlier times, when the kings were ruling, the monarchs were ruling the society, so when the monarch wanted to convey a message to the people, so this is the method adopted. Somebody who is the representative of the king comes into the square of the village and stands at a vantage point and somebody beats a drum to draw the attention of all the people. And people assemble there. By hearing the drum beat, few times the drum is beaten, so they all assemble. And some people who position themselves close to the place, they stand a little apart in their homes, see through the windows and all that, and they also pay attention. Everybody pays attention. Because now the king's message, in fact the king's message is same as the king's command. It is an order, adesha. See, upadesha, adesha, there are two words. Upadesha means a message, a nice message conveyed to the other person. That is called upadesha. Then desha, tishati, desha. Deshikaha is the teacher. Upadesha, upa is the upasarga, the prefix. You replace upa with a, then it becomes a adesha. The meaning changes. Very dramatically the meaning changes. Now it is not a message anymore, it is a command. So the king's command is same as the king's message. A similar, the Veda is visualized exactly the same way. Veda is like king. And so Veda's message is like Veda's command. That's why in Upanishads, in Taittiriya, you must have heard Esha Adeshaha, Esha Upadeshaha. This is the Adesha and this is the Upadesha. So that is how the message is conveyed. It's a command. Means you should follow it. So by doing which you will gain the higher thing. By violating which you will be subjected to grief. That is the idea of an Adesha. King's command is like that. Therefore, the Veda is visualized like a king. Veda's mandate has the same authority as the mandate of the king. In that sense, the word Dindima is put there. So, you have to receive this message with all due respect, with all respect that is due to a king's command. Vedanta Dindima. The idea is not to instill some fear so that people will obey. That is not the idea. Just culturally the word Dindima I have explained. It is not out of fear that you have to follow it. Out of understanding and the respect born out of understanding, one has to follow the message. So in that sense, the word Dindimaha is used. It's a message that people should follow. And then it is the message of Vedanta. It is not a political message or a message connected with some tax, payment of taxes and all that. It is Vedanta Dindimaha. Vedanta is normally understood by people, so they know what it is. The last portion of Vedas, Vedanta. But I personally feel giving the meaning Vedanta, Anta means the end portion of Vedas, is the dumbest possible meaning for the word Vedanta. Because the word has a lot more significance in it. It is not just the last page of a book or the last chapter of a book. It is that it is. I'm not saying it is not that it is. But it is a lot more than that. Vedanta. Antaha Nirnayaha. In Sanskrit, if you look at the dictionary, you will find the meaning. Antaha is the Nirnayaha, Nishchayaha. Means the distilled out essence. That is the meaning of Anta. That is the essence of Veda. Vedas teach so many things, which can be broadly categorized as karma, the rituals. You see, a human being's life is full of actions. And a particular direction is given to these actions by Veda in the name of karma. Normally, human beings' actions are very worldly, which means very self-oriented. That is the meaning of worldly actions. So, we dabble with the world to make the things of the world more convenient and more suitable for our personal joy or personal pleasure. Sometimes it is not just a person's pleasure, it is a psychological thing it is, for personal aggrandizement. There is the ego sitting there. It wants all the sense pleasures, but it wants a lot more than sense pleasures. It wants to feel great by acquiring things of the world. That's why this acquisition, this acquisitive spirit that people have. So it is initially, to begin with, it is about getting some food for the survival. And then it is about getting some sense pleasures in addition to the food. Now that the tummy is full, now next what? Some sense pleasures will be better. So acquisition of the sense pleasures. And how long can one acquire sense pleasures? Having done that, now it is all about ego aggrandizement, egoic aggrandizement. Ego wants to feel great. Sense pleasures are all taken care of. Tummy is taken care of. Now egoic aggrandizement is what people pursue. This is how people acquire what is called an acquisitive spirit and spend the whole life in such a meaningless pursuit. Anyway, so in doing so, out of this acquisitive spirit, we perform innumerable actions. The entire life is a life of actions only. And the Veda tries to give a proper directions to this field of activity. So much activity is there in one's life, because life means activity. And so a direction is sought to be given by Veda. Do some of these actions to propitiate the gods. The vision of the rishis had been that the gods are not away somewhere sitting above. They are before us, very much sustaining us in the form of the forces of nature. This is how Vedic rishis visualized. For them, a god is not some gentleman sitting in Vaikuntha or Kailasa. That is the Puranic drishti. There is a drishti, vision. Purana drishti versus Darshanika drishti. Purana drishti, the vision of the Puranas, at least apparently, superficially, it is about a god sitting in heaven or whatever, which we all know. But the Vedic seers did not visualize like that. They always visualized the god as a particular force of nature, power of nature. Like the sun is a god. Sun, Suryo Devata, because he illumines the entire world. And then the moon is the god, Chandrama Devata. And then we need some more illumination in the form of a lamp, Agnir Devata. So this is all about illumination, which is very much prevalent in the nature. And then the wind is blowing, which is very important for the survival of all life. Vayur Devata. Like that, even the plants and the trees are growing. Oshadhayaha. They are also Devata. Like this, the Pruthivi Devata. Apo Devata. Apaha, waters, is the Devata. So these are all the various forms of the higher power called Ishvara. This is how they visualize. And that's why all the rituals of the Vedic seers are aimed at propitiating these devatas. It is about offerings to sun, to moon, to Agni, to Varuna, etc., to Prithvi. This is how they visualize. We acquire things from the nature and we propitiate the nature. Ishvara in the form of the nature. So you give back something. That is what is called yajna, the spirit of yajna. This is the portion of Veda that deals with rituals, karma kanda. Then the vision of the rishis was very profound in that they recognized another faculty of the human being, namely upasana. That is the name given to it, upasana. Means you not only perform actions, but also you dwell upon a given thing using the mind. Mind is the very special faculty. It is there in every action. Behind every action it is there. But more than that, mind can really dwell upon something. And as mind focuses on that something, a power is generated. If the mind is scattered all over, then the mental energy is scattered. Scattering of the mind is same as the scattering of the mental energy. Mind is power. It is the life's power. And so that is scattered all around. Instead of that, you collect the mind. And which means stop scattering the mind on multiple things. And focus the mind on one thing. Then that generates power. So, power means, you understand the word, that generates something special. So, this is what is called bhavana. Bhavana means contemplating upon or dwelling upon a given thing. So, this is the power that the human being has. And this also should be given a proper direction. Generally, people, they dwell upon wealth, money. Most of the life is spent, a large portion of life is spent, the mental life, the thought life is dedicated to thinking about money. So, always thinking about money in one form or the other. So, we think about the US economy. US economy means what? It is my pocket only. It is connected with my pocket. And US is doing well, we get good donations in the ashram. So like that. It is always connected with oneself, really. Therefore, a large part of thought life is dedicated to wealth. What a pitiable situation. What a sheer waste of mental power. Because money has some purchasing power, using which you procure a few things required for the sustenance of the body-mind. Beyond that, the purchasing power of the mind is useless. And so, instead of spending 1% of thought life on money, we spend 90% of thought life on money. So, here comes the Veda, and it commands, don't waste the mental power like that, the mind's power, to conserve it. Now, having conserved, what to do? We will tell you that. First you conserve it. You withdraw the mind from the things of the world. Then pleasures of the world. If the wealth is one aspect on which we dwell, and then comes that is called artha, purushartha. It is given the name purushartha. At a particular point, there is some validity for that. That's why it is called purushartha. Then what will we do with all the money? So we enjoy a few pleasures, that is the kama, another purushartha at a given level, not at the level of Vedanta Dindima. But still they are given a status of purushartha at a lower level. Trivarga it is called. And then the morality that we have to adopt in acquiring wealth and in enjoying pleasures, that is called dharma. It is all about the morality. If you don't want any wealth, if you don't want any pleasures, then you need not adhere to any dharma. No need. Dharma becomes relevant only when you want wealth and you want to enjoy sense pleasures, here and hereafter. Only then dharma becomes relevant. Otherwise, dharma has no role to play. Therefore, the three come together. It's a package. Dharma comes along with arthakama. If you are willing to give up arthakama, you don't bother about dharma. That is already given up. Now you are ready for moksha. This is how we visualize. Therefore, the purusharthas are not four. It is always 3 plus 1. And And so this upasana should not be on artha and kama alone. It should be on higher things. You should visualize higher things. Therefore, Veda steps in and tries to give a direction to our bhavana. It tries to mold our thought life for us. This is called the second aspect of Veda, called upasana, karma, upasana. In the Puranic literature, the word upasana has been replaced by another similar word called bhakti. One and the same. This is the second part of the Veda. We are starting at the very low level, at the bottom level of karma, physical action, then bhavana, that is the upasana, and now we finally come to knowledge, jnana. So jnana, if you say jnana, if you translate it as knowledge, so you have to be very cautious in understanding the word knowledge. So jnana is not the knowledge in the usual sense of the term. That is not the knowledge. It is something more than that. We will come to that. Anyway, we use the word jnana. So jnana can be probably translated as realization. Probably that could be a better way of translating than simply calling it knowledge. But anyway, I am not going to contest about the translations. Some word or the other has to be used. So no harm in saying knowledge as long as you understand that it is something different from the knowledge that you get by reading books or by reading newspaper, etc. This is something different. If you put the word, because you use the word knowledge, and therefore we have a sense, we all know what knowledge means. And therefore, Vedanta, the Upanishads have some knowledge to give to us. So there is everywhere we have knowledge, we acquire knowledge. Science is knowledge, and then social studies is also knowledge, and even study of newspapers is also knowledge. Why not? Everything is knowledge. And then come to Puranas, Vedas, etc. The karma, kanda is there, that is knowledge. And upasana is there, bhakti, etc. That is also knowledge. And then Vedanta we come, that is knowledge. No, you are wrong. That is not knowledge in that sense. It is something different. So, you see, why am I emphasizing this? Unless you make this point clear, you will never reach there. Because you have put yourself on a wrong track to begin with. Therefore, here when we say jnana, it is something. It is not something of the kind of knowledge to which we are accustomed to. We are habituated to acquire knowledge. And I don't hesitate even for a second to club this acquiring of knowledge. To club this with the acquisitive spirit that I was talking about. Are you following what I am saying? We have an acquisitive spirit, always trying to acquire. So acquire what? Money. Okay, fine. Everybody has to acquire money, and then pleasures, sense pleasure. I acquire gadgets are things which give us pleasure, that we acquire. And then a religious mind wants to acquire punyam, merit. You acquire. You do 108 names puja, you get a certain amount of merit. And you do 1008 names worth of names puja, you will get 10 times more merit. So you acquire that. Acquire merit. Religion is all about acquiring merit. Economy is all about acquiring wealth. And life is all about acquiring pleasures. Enjoying pleasure after the pleasure. And then we want to be very more sophisticated than this. This is very rough kind of thing it is. A very mundane thing it is. We want to be more sophisticated than that. And therefore we want to acquire knowledge. And so, okay, let us start. We join university. What do we do there? Semester after semester, we acquire knowledge. And then all that is fine. I am not saying anything against it. It is all there. I am only cautioning, when you come to the class of Vedanta, you come with the same acquisitive spirit. That is where the whole problem lies. So Vedanta is not about acquiring one more branch of knowledge, one more bunch of information. It is not about that. In fact, here I would say, Vedanta, first meaning I gave is Anta, the last portion, which is the very simplistic meaning. Not only simple meaning, but very simplistic meaning. Second meaning is Nishchayaha, Nirnayaha, the essence. So Vedas tell us to perform rituals, they tell us to contemplate upon a particular devata, etc. Upasana is there. They tell all of that. But the heart of the Veda, the love of the Veda doesn't lie there. The spirit of Veda or the culmination of Veda is not there. That is only preparation of the human being for the higher thing. The heart of the Veda is elsewhere. And what is that? Realization of the truth. Satya Jnanam, the realization of the truth. Realization, not acquiring information about the truth. It is not about acquisitive spirit. Acquiring information, you believe me, it just falls in the same category of that acquisitive spirit with which I started the discussion. It just falls in the same category. You acquire money and your bank account becomes fatter and fatter by the day. You acquire knowledge. So the number of texts that you have studied increases, the amount of information that you could stuff in increases, and the number of grades that you gain increases, and the number of titles that you can put to yourself increases. This is my 126th Gita Jnana Yajna. This is the acquisitive spirit. So I am acquiring Gita Jnana Yajnas. Of course, with the help of people. So, it finally, you believe me, it is the people are very good meaning people. They have all the devotion, all the love for the knowledge and all that, which is wonderful. And but finally, it all dwindles, or it all becomes. You see, I am struggling to make a phrase. So it all fritters away in the form of acquisitive spirit. So you end up acquiring a few things. That is not jnana. That is not where the heart of Veda lies. Therefore, this is the reason why the word jnana has to be cautiously appreciated. Simply saying jnana means knowledge is not enough. It is not the real meaning if knowledge means acquiring knowledge. Therefore, the heart of Veda, the essence of Veda, the culmination of Veda, which is the word Vedanta means, is in realization of the truth. Whatever the truth is, that is called Vedanta. The second meaning of Vedanta. So, antaha, nishchayaha, nirnayaha. Then the third meaning of Vedanta, Veda is knowledge. Veda is not Vida Jnane, that is the verb. Vida Jnane, the verbal root. And so you add one suffix a, Vida a. And then so that e, which is called upadha, laghu upadha it is, it becomes guna, it becomes elongated. So vid a, e becomes a Veda, Vedaha. Vid jnane, the act of knowing, and therefore Vedaha is knowledge. And then what is Vedanta? Vedam antayati iti Vedantaha. It is that which puts an end to knowledge. Am I saying something unexpected? Maybe, I don't know. But I really mean what I am saying. Vedanta is the ending of all knowledge. Ending. Because knowledge means what? You see, and that is how you know. Prachaksha, you hear, that is how you know. You taste, and a few other things will follow. These two are main. See is rupa, here is nama, amarupa. And so what you call knowledge is knowing nothing more than knowing of names and forms. Namarupa. I tell you, the very first thing that we learn in Vedanta is the truth does not lie in the names and forms. That is the very first thing you should learn. The truth does not lie in the names and forms. So you get hold of a few names and forms, you are not getting hold of the truth. You are getting hold of thin air. Because names and forms in themselves do not contain the truth. You have to transcend the names and forms to get to the truth. Therefore, unless you end this process of knowing, you cannot reach the truth. If you are looking for the truth in this prachaksha, means in the visual perception, means whatever you perceive, that is the prachaksha, whatever you perceive is not the truth. Whatever you perceive is not the truth. So I have ended Veda. Veda is knowledge. I have ended it by just declaring that whatever you perceive is not the truth. Then there is another mode of knowing. Perceiving is one important mode of knowing, and you have to end it. Then comes a little subtler mode of knowing, that is conception. Or conception is a short form. Conceptualization is the real form. But to make it easy to pronounce and all that, so I simply say conception. So, to conceive means you see a few things, you know Namarupa, and then start making connections, etc., and figure out something using the power of intellect. That is how you figure it out. You figure out. And that is called knowledge, conceptual knowledge, the knowledge derived out of the power of conception. So everything you don't see. For example, if you have a radio telescope, there you do not see anything. Eyes cannot see radio waves. I can only see the visual spectrum of waves. They cannot see beyond the visual spectrum. So radio telescope is there, you do not see anything. You conceive everything. So you infer everything. So based on the data that the telescope acquires, you figure out that data, you look at the graph or you look at the spectral lines and then figure out what it could be, like that. Therefore, this is the conceptual knowledge acquired mostly through the power of the mind to conceive. Mind can conceive. Sometimes, you see, there are two schools. The power of conception based on observation. First you observe and then you apply the power of conception. This is one school. And there is another school which ridicules observation. Why? What is there to observe? Silly. What is there to observe? There is nothing to observe. We will figure out everything through the power of conception only. This is the Aristotle school, which ridicules the observation itself. Whereas the scientific method consists of observation followed by conception. So, like this, this is called knowledge. This is the knowledge. And Vedanta, it literally, quite literally, ends this process of knowledge. You stop perceiving, because what you perceive is not the truth. You stop conceiving, because what you conceive is not the truth. Then if you negate perception and negate conception, what is left? Yes, whatever is left is the truth. And that is ashesha nishedha avadhihi. That is the culmination or the residuum or what is left out. You go ahead and say so. It is nothing wrong in it. It is not bringing its value down. There is no such thing. Whatever is left out, whatever is the residuum, and whatever is the avadhi, avadhi means the culmination. So that is avadhi, the culmination. So I hope I will get a better word or even a different word for that. So avadhi, the culmination against which you reject everything else. So you reject the perception. Reject means you negate it. Na iti. This is not the truth. This is not the truth. Like that you negate. So you end up negating the perception and conception, and what remains is the truth. Therefore, that is the method of Upanishads. Atha ata adeshaha neti neti. Atha ataha, like athato brahma jijnasa. There is always a meaning for atha and ataha in Prakarana Upanishad. So without going into all those details, adeshaha. This is the command. Or the adesha is upadesha. This is the message. What is that? Neti neti. What all you conceive, what all you perceive, and what all you conceive is not the truth. Therefore, you have virtually ended the field of knowledge itself. That is what is called Vedanta. Vedam antayati iti Vedantaha. So you have to look at the word Vedanta like that. Therefore, the words spoken by the Upanishad or by the Acharya, they help you to rise above the field of knowledge. The field of knowledge in the form of perception and conception. It rises above that. Then you have now come into the domain of the truth. This is that's why you need a drum beat and all that. Somehow, when you listen to a drum beat with all intent, you rise above the field of knowledge. Somehow it takes you above. That is the meaning of the word Vedanta Dindima. So, now you can appreciate the glory of this text. It has such verses, 100 of them. Each verse will take you out of the domain of the temporal or the transient thing called the world, whatever. So it takes us from this unreal domain of the temporal and transient to the domain of timeless reality. That is the Vedanta Dindima. So with this brief introduction, now I will go. I gave an introduction to Vedanta Dindima because a few people have newcomers. And so with that we now go to the verse. Here we use the word Atma to mean that truth. So, you see, I was saying jnana is the realization of the truth. That is what I was saying. It is not the knowledge in the usual sense of acquiring knowledge. It is the realization of the truth. That is what jnana means. So, if so, what is that truth? If so, what is that truth? At least briefly, roughly, some idea must be there about the truth so that you know how to look for it. not where to look for it. Nobody can tell you where to look for it. Because by the time you say, you answer the question where, it comes into the domain of perception and conception. Nobody can tell you where to look for, or nobody can tell you what to look for, because whatever is described in so many terms is not, it is not the truth anymore. So the Acharya can only tell you how to look for it. That is all. You see, you just look at it. We teach children. Generally, what parents teach children is what to think, not how to think. They teach what to think. A for apple, like that they begin, and they teach what to think. In the name of culture, in the name of religion, in the name of science and social studies, etc., we teach them what to think, not how to think. Probably, a few subjects like mathematics and philosophy, I suppose, they teach, probably, at least to a small extent, how to think. So, therefore, the Acharya is not going to tell you what is the truth or where is the truth, where to look for the truth, but he will only tell you how to look for the truth. Okay, how? It is Atma. That is how. Atma. The word Atma. You see, even to understand the word Brahma and Atma, one should be very cautious. I talk like this, I give a caution like that because I notice the words Atma and Brahma are not appreciated properly. I notice it in the students of Vedanta. I notice it, and whatever I notice, I bring it to the notice of people, so that they take advantage of my noticing. That is the way the class is taken, you know. That is the purpose. I am not trying to punch holes or any such thing. I am trying to point out how easily one can make a mistake. If you adopt the same usual way of approach towards Vedanta, you make a mistake. It's so easy to make a mistake. And that's why all kinds of cautions are given. Out of love it is done. Anyway, so coming to the point, the word Atma, it tells you how to look for the truth. And how to look for it? Atma, meaning Ananyaha. It is none other than yourself. That is how to look for it. Therefore, don't try to look for truth in the seventh heaven, up. Or don't try to look for it in the world around you. It is in you. It is none other than yourself, your true self. Ananyaha. Whatever you are, the truth is none other than what you are, not what you imagine yourself to be. Okay? There is a big difference. If that is the truth, then this is the truth. No. Whatever you imagine yourself to be, that is not the truth, that is not Atma. Whatever you are. But to emphasize that, I would say, whatever you truly are, that is the truth. That is Atma. And now, you ask a question to yourself, what am I? What am I? You ask that question. Don't answer readily or immediately. The question is very profound. In fact, it is so profound that it has the power of giving realization in itself. That powerful the question is. Therefore, don't deal with the question loosely. or superficially. You ask it deeply, and you ask it with all love. With all the love that you can muster, you ask that question. What am I? So, anyway, I will not wait a few days to answer that question. I will take the class forward. So the answer is, if you look at yourself, by giving up all perception and conception, so you have to look at yourself like that, without relying upon conception and perception. I tell you how. For example, I say, what am I? I am a Swami coming from India. I am an Indian Swami. Suppose I say that. You see, I have not answered the question in a proper way. I have fallen into the trap of the routine. So, I have already classified myself as a Swami. Means there are 4 ashramas. I belong to the 4th ashrama. And there are 204 nations. I belong to a particular nation called India. So already I have identified myself with so many ideas. First you identify with the body in a very fundamental way, and then from that fundamental identification come a host of other identifications. So first I am the body, and therefore because I am the body, I am an Indian, and because I am the body, I am a Swami, and therefore I am an Indian Swami. No, that is not the way to answer that question. That is the silliest possible way to answer that question. You have already defeated the question by answering it like that. You should not answer it like that. At the same time, you should not give up the question. So, what am I? I would tell you how to look at it. I would say, I am. That is the only answer I can give to that question, what am I? You add one more word, it becomes an untruth. You just say, I am. That's all. Just now I have shown you how it becomes, I am an Indian Swami, or I am a Swami, I am an Indian, I am this, I am that. You see, whatever you can perceive, or whatever you can conceive, is this or that. When you say this or that, what is this? What is this that? They are nothing but what all you perceive and what all you conceive. You see, what all you perceive and what all you conceive is other than you. It is not you. You cannot perceive yourself. You should first know that. You cannot perceive yourself. Suppose you perceive something, then that something cannot be yourself. You perceive the body, therefore it is not yourself. Why? Because you perceive it. The fact that you perceive precludes the possibility of the body being yourself. Therefore, you drop the perception. You drop the conception. Don't conceive, I am professor, I am this, I am caste-wise, creed-wise, race, religion. All these conceptual identifications you drop. Every one of them. Be ruthless about it. Be ruthless. In negation, you should be ruthlessly negating to arrive at the truth. If you hesitate in negation, you won't arrive at the truth. Na gurur na sishyaha, na varnashram achara dharmaha, na mata na pita. You should be ruthless, should not be sentimental. And when you negate all that, and then answer the question, what am I or who am I? Doesn't matter. You answer it, then you will, out of sheer exasperation, you will say, what else, what can I say about myself? I cannot say anything about myself except I am. That is the truth of yourself. I am. You begin there. Don't say Atma, Brahma and all that. You don't again put some concept in. Suppose you say Atma is Brahman. You have already fallen into a conceptual thinking. What do you know by Brahman? So it is another word. Therefore, don't make it a Brahman again. Out of habit, This habit. We are habituated to say Brahman, Atma is Brahman. Out of that habit we say and assume that it is knowledge. Suppose you are humble enough to say, okay, saying Atma is not Brahma, saying Atma is Brahman is not knowledge. You are humble. Great, that is fine. But still, if you believe that go on saying Atma is Brahman a large number of times for a certain period of time, suddenly something will happen. Nothing will happen. Therefore, it is not about Atma is Brahman. Be honest to yourself. Truly and honestly, you can say only this much about yourself as an answer to the question, what am I? And the answer is, I am. So we have come up to that, right? This is how to look for the truth I am saying. Not where to look for or what to look for. Where to look for also I may say, you look in yourself, that way I can say. But certainly not what to look for. How to look for. So you have to take this question and arrive at the pure I amness. That is where you have to arrive at. Having arrived at I am, then you dwell upon that I am. I am. What is that I am? So, I would say that I am is the being. Sa satta atma. So, I am following the verse only, word by word. So, that being is the Atma. Atma meaning none other than yourself. Ananyaha. That being is the Atma. Now, let us do a small meditation within the short time that is available for us. So, meditation means sitting alert by keeping the back straight. When the back is kept straight, the mind becomes alert. And to avoid the distraction of the mind, we keep the eyes lightly closed. Just lightly closed. So watch the entire posture. Keep without gripping. Be deliberate all through. That helps in avoiding distraction of the mind. Watch the shoulders. You have to keep the back erect, but keep the shoulders relaxed. Relax the shoulders. Don't relax the back. This preparation for meditation is as important as meditation itself. In fact, this is the meditation. Look at the eyes, which are lightly closed. And sport a smile on the lips. And also notice deliberately the effect of the smile on the muscles of the face. Smile nicely relaxes the entire face. Generally, the muscles of the face are tense. because of the stress in the mind. But when you smile, the muscles relax. And also, the mind becomes cheerful. The smile is a very powerful tool of meditation. It makes the mind cheerful. You should not make the mind more tense in the name of concentration and all that. Just keep it focused and cheerful at the same time. Who am I? Avoid all concepts about yourself. Every single concept is rejected. Suppose I will give you a hint. You drop the entire past. Don't ask how. Don't ask that question at all. Just do it. If you ask how, that becomes a distraction for the mind, an escape route for the mind. Without asking how, just do it. Drop the entire past. Which means drop the memory. No memory. No memory. Now, a little more subtle thing. Drop all anticipation. Do not look for anything. Do not anticipate anything. No anticipation. Which means no future. So make yourself free of the past in the form of memory and of the future in the form of anticipation. And now you say, who am I? No past, no future. Who am I? In fact, you need not answer that question. It is not a routine question anymore. You can as well stay with the question. That becomes a meditation. Or you can even answer it as I am. I am the being. Just be. I am the being. not being this or being that. I am the pure being. Shanti, shanti, shanti. Relax. Keep the eyes closed and relax. Sit comfortably. Slowly open the eyes.